Hey gang, Sean from The Good Dog. Look at that view. If I would have got here just a few minutes earlier, we would have had a little more like sunset-y kind of pink stuff. I'm gonna try and rock and roll through this really quick before it gets so dark that you can't see me. Maybe I'll have to go inside for the end of it. We're flying by the seat of our pants here. Obviously, I'm at the Nola lair, the rooftop getaway here. No one's here, it's crazy. It's like my own private little like rooftop office penthouse kind of thing. Anyways, so wanted to wrap with you guys about a couple things. Laura's obviously in LA. She's sitting somewhere left or right. I'm not sure exactly where. Actually, she won't be because she'll just be like on screen. So forget that part about left or right. She'll just be either before or after me. Cool? Okay. Mardi Gras time, so it's a little crazy here in Nola. Keeping myself nice and sane. You've seen in my Instagram stuff, you see me holding a coffee. It's really a coffee. It's not an Irish coffee. It's not a couple of whiskey in a Starbucks cup. It's just coffee. I'm being a good boy. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Book update. Book's coming along fabulously. Laura's kicking butt. I'd say I've been kicking butt as well. Those bats. Birds. You guys can be able to see them. I thought they were bats and I thought they were coming for me. I got scared. There's a sunset over there. Anyways, okay, I digress. I'm all over the place. I thought I was having a bat attack, all right? I don't understand. I was ready to like dive under the table. Anyways, book's coming along fantastically. Laura's got it all formatted out. Pictures, the setup, the layout. It's very cool to read. It's not just your average normal like booky thing. Nothing wrong with booky things, but it's like you could turn to any page and it'll be interesting. It's not in a linear story kind of fashion. It's a bunch of pieces of an overall story done in a kind of a special, unique way that I think you're gonna really enjoy. Really hope so. We really poured our heart and souls into it. Like I said, Laura's done a bang-up job with it, and it looks so good. I think that I've done a pretty darn good job rewriting, like I said, like 95% of the book. So like fresh content, if you're like, I've seen the blog, I don't need to buy this book, no. The book is completely a different animal. It's a lot of the same concepts or ideas, but they've been completely like rewritten, restructured. There's a few oldies but goodies, but even those have been tweaked and adjusted. So I'm telling you, it's a freshie. It's fresh and it's good, and I'm super proud of it. On the problem side of things, we're trying to get the cover done. We had a cover we were crazy about. I was actually gonna post pictures of it. I was like, stop the presses, we got it. And then we've had problems getting the artists to correspond or respond. And so now we're on to our second version of the cover, and we're diving deep and trying to get it all sorted out. I think we're close to having that rocking and rolling. It's still gonna be cool. It's gonna be a different kind of cool. So first one was super cool. Second one, I'm like, I think if we tweak it, it might even be cooler than the first one. So we'll see. But you guys will never know because you won't have the comparison. So you'll just think it's hopefully cool no matter what. Anyways, book's coming along. Release date, I can't give you a release date just yet because I don't know. We were looking at digital versus offset. There's different timelines for each kind of printing process and very different price points. So we're trying to make sure that we keep the book in the price point that it still makes sense and still get it out to you guys as quick as possible. So challenges, but we're up for the challenges. My focus right now is just to get that cover slamming. And I've got some really cool ideas, and if the artists can put them all together and we can like shuck and jive and make it work together, I think we're gonna be in a good spot with that. So, just wanna let you know, any of you folks that were like, you guys said early 2017, I've already paid for the book, it's coming. We're working night and day. I wish somebody could fly in Michael Jackson's got me working day and night. Maybe Laura will fly that in so you don't have to just like deal with me. But we are working day and night. Laura is working so hard on the formatting. The formatting process is so complex. Like, I thought the writing part was hard, but like, it's kind of the easy part. The formatting is getting everything to work, and then I can't even get into it because it'll make my head fly off, but it's a very complex process. So take that from me. Like I said, it's Mardi Gras, so time's a little crazy here, trying to keep my head down, trying to stay sane, trying to behave myself. Probably gonna work with some dog stuff, and so got a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure going on. Shelby, our beloved Shelby, is going to be coming back home. She actually lives here, is from here, so Shelby will be coming home, I think, like 3 or 4 days after I get back to LA. She's gonna be packing up, cleaning up, headed out. She's gonna do a cross-country drive back to New Orleans. And so Shelby will be here along with Cambry, so the Nola team builds. And it's fabulous because she's been with us for about a year now, and has really learned the good dog's approach inside and out. And so we're super proud of her, and she's really come just a million miles with so much stuff, her training and her way of viewing dogs and people and client interactions, just awesome stuff. So super proud of Shelby. We're gonna miss her a ton, but I know she'll be happier back home. And in her place, we have Liz coming in. Liz is coming in to apprentice for 3 months. So you'll see a new face, and Liz is a badass trainer, and she's coming to learn the good dog approach and bring a new vibe, a new energy. We'll see how it goes. And we'll still have our beloved Henri and Tony and Brittany and me and Laura still kind of keeping things flowing. But keep your eyes peeled for Liz, and we'll all say goodbye to Miss Shelby. Maybe we'll get to say goodbye to her on the very next episode or something. So anyways, guys, with that, I'm gonna rock and roll and get into it because we are losing light super duper quick. Like I said, we're gonna fly by the seat of our pants with these answers, with these questions, and with these answers. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog. And this, how do I do it again? Laura, cut this part. I know you won't cut it. You'll let me suffer. Let's see if I can remember it. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and this is Q&A episode. Laura's not here to yell at me. 124. Like that, little improv. And all the stuff you can't see, all this stuff, well, some of the stuff you can see, but a lot of stuff you can't see over that way. It's The Good Dog's Q&A episode. I messed it up. 124. 1, 2, 4. Maybe she'll cut that out and make me look good. Chances are she won't. Chances are Laura will leave all that in there, and you get to see me like go through the intro twice. Wrong, incorrectly. For some reason, like, it doesn't matter how many times I do it, like the intro always kind of like befuddles me. So let's move on into the show now that we got the awkward, uncomfortable part out of the way, and see what we come up with. All right, hold on.
Hey, Q&A Saturday, it's me. I haven't even watched Sean's intro yet, so I know that I'm not gonna do anything that has to do with what he's already said. Here's the baby, he's sleeping, it's awesome. I am going to read the questions. I don't really have anything new to report. Same nails. Episode number 124, which I think Sean probably did on his own. He's in New Orleans. By the way, the New Orleans thing was a total surprise to me. I didn't even know it was happening until he told me literally 10 seconds before he was leaving. Oh yeah, by the way, I thought he was joking. I saw a group text where he was talking about it, and I was like, oh, he's not going. But he went. And I'm stuck in Bookland, as well as he is stuck in Bookland. It's almost there, guys. I'm sure he already told you, but it really is. All right, I'm gonna read these out. So question number 1 comes from Jessica. Jessica says, my 4-year-old shepherd is great with the puppy my boyfriend got, but I can get them to get along. Only thing is that I can't feed them near each other. She eats too fast and throws up and is possessive over the food, but not toys or her nylabone either. Could I break this with the e-collar? Take it away.
Hey everybody. All right, we had to move inside. It got dark and I was scared of the bats. I'm sorry if the light's not fantastic. I can't disclose what that is I'm eating. small glass of wine. It is Mardi Gras after all, right? You can't be too mad at me for that. How do we do this here? Okay. Anyways, I look red, but I'm not sunburned or anything. It's just the damn color. So, I'm just gonna answer questions. I'm gonna pretend like I know what's going on, and I'm gonna trust in the old editing process. This is really good Merlot, by the way. My favorite Merlot. Okay, ready to roll here? So we've got Jessica. Jessica's got a 4-year-old shepherd, and Jessica's got a new puppy, I think her boyfriend brought in, and things are going really well, smashingly even, swimmingly even, but they're having problems with food stuff. And I guess, if I understand right, it's the puppy. It was hard for me to discern exactly which dog we were talking about. One of them's got some resource guarding stuff with food, is eating super fast. I'm thinking it's a puppy, is eating super fast and then throwing up the food, and then like resource guarding, like, I know it's kind of unsavory, the throw up and like food in general and things like that. And so she's basically saying things are great, peachy in fact, but we're having this one problem with the food stuff. How do we go about getting them to be cool with food? And for me, like, it's a simple answer. And it's really about not trying to push this envelope. A lot of trainers and TV shows and things like that have really pushed this kind of angle about like, dogs need to be able to like eat right next to each other. And I just posted a video about grudges and how they're built. And a lot of grudges are built precisely in this fashion. You put dogs too close together. You only need one of them to have a food thing, but if you got two, then you're really off to the races, but you only need one. And while they're eating, there's tension. They may not attack, they may not do anything right away, but tension's building. That's how you build grudges. That's how you later on have fights. That's how you have possessive, nasty, bullying behavior that like generalizes and ripples out and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So how do we avoid that? Let's avoid it. And I'm not saying like feed one dog in the backyard, one in the front yard. I'm saying like feed dogs in crates, right? With the divider, so dogs like don't stare at each other. Remember, like, the dogs are dogs. There's primal stuff going on. Food, there are resources of a primal nature that cause dogs, especially certain dogs, to be ready to fight for it, right? So I want you to really wrap your head around that it's not a losing proposition or a failure or a lifestyle like disaster if your dogs can't eat right next to each other peacefully. Lots of dogs aren't comfortable with that. Dogs are so individual. So let's honor that. Let's give them credit for being individual. Now, if you've got snarky, crappy behavior coming from one of these dogs towards the other dogs, it's a different story, and you really need to correct it and address it. I would absolutely address that stuff. That said, there's a fine balance between like saying, I'm gonna demand a lot of you, and you can't misbehave, you can't like side eye, you can't be snarky, you can't be crappy, but then also setting up a situation that creates that dynamic that's really challenging. So I'd love for you, Jessica, to try and strike that balance, to try and find that thing of like, okay, cool, let's set the dogs up in a position where they're not stressed out and building grudges and tension unintentionally that we don't know about or that we do know about and that we don't want. So if you're gonna feed them, don't feed them right next to each other. Feed them further away. Feed them in the crates. If you feed like we have all these dogs that we're working with. Most of them have got dog issues. We never have dog fights. We don't have any issues with that. Why? Because we do simple procedures. All the dogs eat in the crates. It makes it super, super duper easy. Some people might be like at their homes like, well, that's a failure, or our dogs aren't cohabitating peacefully. No, it just helps dogs not have to deal with stress of like, are you after my stuff? Because when a dog's out of a crate and right next to another dog, they're thinking, you coming after my stuff? And a lot of dogs will like throw stuff up and like they'll eat so fast because they're so like intense about it, then they'll throw up, but to them, it's not like that's nasty throw up. To them, it's like, it's still my food. It just looks different. And now I'm gonna go after you because you got close to it or whatever it might be. Or now I've like actually made my food vulnerable because it's like come out of the bowl and now it's here. So regardless or irregardless, I would love for you to strike a balance of asking both your dogs to be the best they can be. Snarky, crappy, bullying, nasty behavior, address it absolutely across the board, food and otherwise. But if you do see it with food stuff, like say you've got, and let me see if I can set this up right. Go after that stuff. But I want you guys to set up the feeding to where they're either in crates and they've got a little distance or a divider between them, or feed them where they're further away from each other so you can relieve that tension. They don't need to be on top of each other for you to be like the almighty pack leader or almighty like dog owner or any of that stuff. Like let's take away the stress while still asking for the best. Now what I want to get across with this is that if you do set them up in a great way, either in the crate or at a distance, and you feed them and you're still getting stuff like side-eyeing or posturing or growling or anything, I would nail them. I would absolutely correct them firmly for any shenanigans like that, whether it's in the crate or whether it's out of the crate, right? So it's that dance. Do your best, set them up to succeed with the least amount of competition, possessive, primal kind of like, angst and stuff like that. And then if you do have any of that residual stuff after you've done your best job of setting them up, then correct them for it and let them know, hey, that stuff's not allowed. Get rid of that crap, and I think that's a nice balance. But once again, we don't set dogs up to be in situations where they're going to be in a position to fight for food. So we got tons of dogs all over, but none of the dogs, we don't have a lineup of like dogs like all eating together because we're like such badass dog trainers. I'm not saying this about you, I'm just saying like that it's really been, this message has really been purported, is not the right word. I wish Laura was here to help me, but has been perpetuated. This message has been perpetuated that to have like really great dogs that are really in a great spot, they've got to be able to eat together. It's just not the case. So even when Belle and Manny eat together, Belle and Manny's like a cream puff, Belle is a cream puff. I still don't feed them right next to each other. Why? Why make it hard for them? Let them eat. Like they don't need to be like on top of each other and like worried. Belle eats at her pace, Manny eats at his pace, let him chill out and relax. Now, if that happens and Manny finishes first and starts to come over by Belle's food, he's gonna get his behind whooped for coming over and like creeping around. Not like really, but like, get the hell out of here. You just ate. So I hope that helps. I know I went way over. Laura's gonna like be really mad at me, but I hope that helps, all right? Jessica?
Okay, question number 2 comes from Zoe. Zoe says, don't laugh. My dogs a lot of times just put themselves in place. They're comfortable and happy there. I don't know what to do when they get off place if they have put themselves there. I feel like it's okay if they get off since I didn't tell them to go. Do you think they know the difference if you put them there or just go? All right, that's a good one. Thanks, Zoe. Hey guys. Okay, I just turned this selfie camera on me and it looks like I'm high, but I'm not. I've never been high in my life. My eyes look very red from staring at a computer screen right now for a couple hours since the baby's been asleep. I've been able to, and you know what? It doesn't look like I'm high. I'm sorry. Looks like I've been crying, but I haven't been crying at all. I've just been staring at this computer screen for 2 hours, put the baby to sleep, was able to actually finally get some work done, and I'm sitting here cutting Q&A Saturday on a Friday night, and I realize I'm frantically texting Sean, but he actually didn't answer this question number 2. So he didn't send me any footage on Zoe, but he did tell me that he was answering Zoe's question. So I did that part earlier today where I actually asked the question, and right now, I don't have Sean's answer. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to answer it, and you guys are just gonna have to see through the red eyes and just know that it's total computer brain eyes, everything. Oh my God, I'm looking at it and like, I really look like I've been crying. I swear I haven't. I would tell you. I promise I would tell you. Okay, So, Miss Zoe, I'm going to answer it instead of Sean. So, basically, your question is a really good one. It's something that we get from clients all the time. They're like, my dog places himself and then he like wakes up and leaves place, and I feel like it's setting the precedent that he's allowed to leave place whenever he wants. But the reality is, like, if your dogs are just laying in place, especially if it's like a soft bed, I'm sure it's a bed or a mat that they're used to going to anyway. There's two parts to this. So if your dogs are just laying in place, that's okay, as long as if you didn't put them there, it's okay for them to invite themselves off and do that. If you're worried about that setting a precedent that they can leave place whenever, here's the real big picture of it, is that if your dogs have the freedom right now to just be wandering and going to place whenever they want anyway, they're probably pretty good dogs, especially if you're fans of us and you know kind of like if you have dogs that have issues, you probably should lock them down for a little bit and have them in place for a while whenever you're supervising. But it sounds to me like they're just kind of doing their thing, which means they're probably good dogs. So all I would do, just to kind of fix this, if you do want to just make sure, is I would just do a little bit of place command every once in a while, just to reinforce. So if they're just hanging out on the beds, you know, call them away, feed them, or do whatever, go play with them outside, and then bring them inside and deliberately put them on place and correct, you know, however you're doing the corrections, correct for any time they break place, and just make that distinction. And then just have a really clear, you know, break or free or whatever it is off that command, so that they really know that, like, okay, when I'm here, that means business. But if I just wander over here and it's soft, I might as well, you know, or if I just wander over here and it's soft, I'm totally cool to just break whenever I want. So yeah, I mean, and the other thing is, like, unless you have like a palace, you know, there's only so many places to lay down, so the dogs are probably picking the softest spot. And this question also goes a lot of times to, like, when owners will say, you know, they'll put their dog in place, they'll fall asleep, and they'll wake up and walk off. It's kind of like, do I correct that? Usually we just say, like, bring them back to place and then correct if they're, like, up and they break, you know? So that's another thing. So dogs putting themselves in place, really common thing. Don't worry about it if they break on its own. Only worry about it if they break when you actually have them in place. But what I would definitely do is just, even if it's just 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes twice a day, whatever it is, make a deliberate act to put them in place and correct for any time they wander off. Just to make that distinction. Hope that helps, Zoe. Thanks for bearing with me. I think you'll see me again later this episode, because I think there's something else we're missing. Okay. Okay, question number 3. It comes from Nicole. Nicole says, I want to start a training tip Tuesday for my Facebook page. How do I pick a first question? Boys and their toys. Again, I want to start a training tip Tuesday for my Facebook page. How do I pick a first question? Should I tape it or do a Facebook Live, which I've never done before? I think this could be a good way to increase interaction on my Facebook page by encouraging people to post questions that I could pick from for the next week. Thoughts? Hey guys, me again. So, I don't know if it's Mardi Gras. I don't know if it's the wine. I don't know if it's the snacks. But someone is not telling me the right information. So he told me that he answered Nicole's question, which I just read. Well, I read earlier today. And he actually answered Shannon's question. So what I'm going to do really quick is answer Nicole's question, and then I'm going to ask Shannon's question, and we're going to roll that all. So it's going to be this is all question number 2 or 3 or whatever I just read. This is all a blur. My whole life for the last 3 months has been a blur. So I just want you all to know that. I'm going to answer the tip of the day one, the training tip of the day. Do I tape it or do a Facebook Live? I think this could be a great way. Nicole, it absolutely is a great way to, I feel like Gelman right now, oh my gosh. It's absolutely is a good way to increase interaction on your Facebook page by encouraging people to post a question. So cool. I love it. Training Tip Tuesday, that's great. I would put out the graphic like we do for Q&A Saturday and have people ask questions, and then do it either in a video like what we're doing, kind of like this, where you have the prepackaged questions, or you can put out the graphic and say, hey, can you guys come to my Facebook Live to ask questions, and I'll answer them there. And the reason why I say actually put something out where people can plan, or they can write a question underneath to plan, is that if you just do a Facebook Live that's Q&A, what I see a lot of the time, now Jeff Gilman can get away with it because he's got a huge following and he's also really consistent with it. Maybe down the line, if you're super consistent with this, you can actually do that. But Jeff is really consistent. You know exactly when his Q&As are going to be. You prep your question, you get on there, right? But you at the start here, you need to prep people more, because if you just get on Facebook Live and say, hey guys, okay, question time, the people that you get might just be like, and not have questions, or ask like lame questions, or questions that are like really involved just because they happen to be on there. But if you want people to actually put some thought into like, oh, actually this would be a good question for a Q&A or whatever, put something out previously so that they can either A, plan on going to the Facebook Live, or B, write it in the comments and you can address it either on the Facebook Live or on a video. Now, if you address pre-done questions on a Facebook Live, you have to be cautious, because people are going to be adding or asking more questions on that Facebook Live, or adding information to your answers. So just be prepared for that and decide if you want to actually acknowledge people or if you just want to do a live type of thing. But the other thing you could do, Training Tip Tuesday, where people write in questions like the Sunday before, and you could do later on in the week, you could do, free Facebook Live Friday or something like that, where you do kind of more of a freehand thing where you're doing it a live type of situation. So that's my take on that question, Nicole. Now, I'm going to ask the question that Sean said was Nicole's, but is actually Shannon's. So this question is for Sean's answer. So this question is for Sean's answer coming up from Shannon. Shannon says, I have a 4-month-old puppy. Is it too early to start on an e-collar? Take it away, Sean.
I know some people really hate me eating while we shoot this. This goes out to you. I don't have a microphone on, so it's not super loud. But guess what? My show. If I want to have a little glass of wine and a wee snack, I feel entitled. I'll try not to be rude, and I'll try not to talk too much, and but live and let live a little bit, right? Okay, sound like I'm getting contentious, but I don't mean to be, just having fun. Okay, so who do we got here? We've got Shannon, who wants to know what age is too young for e-collar. She's got a 4-month-old pup, and she's asking about, can she do e-collar with a 4-month-old pup? Great question. So we've definitely done e-collar on 4-month-old dogs. Between 4 and 5 months is pretty typical for us if we're doing e-collar work with dogs. 8 to which is 2 months to 3 months. If we've got a monster like a dog who's just screw you in the world, excuse me, 1 sec. This is real stuff going on here. We have trained dogs at 3 months on e-collar. Purple, if you search our YouTube channel and search Purple e-collar trained puppy, you'll see what a 3-month-old puppy looks like that's fully e-collar trained. So it's possible, but we really prefer to go to 4, 5 months if you can help it. Just make lots of positive associations with training, and we just do food work early on with the dogs, get them into a good zone, super easy luring stuff, sit down place, all that. And then we start adding e-collar and a little more accountability, and really want to move at a gradual, natural pace so it's comfortable for the dog. They're young, you can easily get stressed out, so we're really trying to strike that balance of here's the work, let's have fun with it, but you're still accountable. The variable comes in between how soft is the dog and how firm is the dog. A really I'm going to do what I'm gonna do at 3 months. you could have your hands full, and trying to work like just food work might actually make that dog say, guess what? Kiss my furry behind. Did I just say that? I think I did. Kiss my furry behind. So that could happen, and then you would be like, wow, that's really not working. Maybe we need to use another tool, something like that. So 4 months is absolutely okay, as long as the dog, once again, we're always talking about overlapping or overlaying. Is that the right word or phrase? I think something like that. Overlapping, laying over, overlaying. Wow, I'm really struggling today with wording. The e-collar over already known commands, right? Sit, down, place, recall, heel, all that stuff. And then it makes it really easy for the dog. So that's what I'd love for you to make sure before you jump into any e-collar training, that you've already done all the foundational work and that the dog really has a solid understanding and is in a comfortable space with all of those commands. And then when you overlay the e-collar, God, I know there's a right word, and it's gonna really annoy me when I like turn this off and I'm like, it's that word. And all of you are shouting it at your screen right now. You're like, it's this. But that's how I'd go about e-collar training a younger dog, and that's really the answer for that. It's really like 4 to 5 months, and then it just depends on the dog. And if the dog's doing great at 4 months without e-collar, like, you can just rock on, like start introducing prong collar stuff and getting the dog to walk really nice and do commands with leash and prong and things like that. Someone's going super old school out there. They should know better than to like, what is that tune? Hey, 90s?
Okay, question number 4 is for our good friend Ashley. Question number 4 is from Charlie. Charlie says, my 19-week-old Malinois is becoming more aggressive and just started training on a prong collar. Another shepherd that's in training now seems to be stressing out over the crate now. My German Shepherd puppy, 5-month-old, is also starting to snap and become aggressive. All are in the beginning stages of training, all doing well with healing thresholds placed, but are all snappy and aggressive towards humans. Yikes. Suggestions. Wow, Charlie, you've got your hands full. I can't wait to hear what Ashley has to say about this.
Hi, it's Ashley with Gold Hill Canine, and my buddy Sean texted me the other day and asked me a couple questions that he wanted our help answering. So I appreciate that, buddy, and glad to be able to do this kind of stuff with you. Really excited about being able to bring working dog stuff to the behavioral side of the house with you guys. So the question that he had posted to me was, 19-week-old Malinois is becoming more aggressive and has just started training on prong collar. Another shepherd that's in training now seems to be stressing out over the crate now. GS pup, 5 months old, is also starting to snap and becoming aggressive. All are in beginning stages of training, all doing well with healing thresholds placed, but are all snappy and aggressive towards humans. Suggestions. So we're gonna keep this quick, short, hopefully 3 to 5 minutes, he said. So there's a lot of different answers for that, really. Without seeing the dogs, my gut feeling is we're dealing with some probably nerve issues, which kind of results from I don't want to say poor breeding necessarily, because even well-bred litters can have dogs with some pretty serious nerve issues. So generally when we see that kind of behavior, what we're looking at are dogs that are a little less comfortable with their environment, a little more shut down, a little less capable of handling outside pressures and stimulus. Don't really want to say that any of it is really coming out of the training per se. Some of it could be a little bit of rebelliousness, a little bit of testing of the waters, seeing where their boundaries are, and kind of pushing back against the training that you guys are putting it through. But generally we don't see that. Really confident, really secure dogs that are you know, just pretty stable. they don't rebel against that kind of training. It actually kind of feeds their drives, feeds their inner desires, and it actually stabilizes them, gives them a purpose, gives them some clarity. So my guess is all of those that are the stressing out over the crate, you know, kind of our philosophy here when it comes to our working dog program and then our behavioral program. Dogs are dogs at the end of the day, and if we have a working dog that's stressing out and being in the crate versus a pet dog that's stressing out and being in the crate, we don't treat them any differently. So my advice is use the same protocols that you would on any other behavior dog. Don't treat it differently just because it's a Mal or a German Shepherd or a Dutch Shepherd or a Rottweiler or some other working breed out there. You know, dogs are dogs at the end of the day. So as far as the snap and becoming aggressive, same thing as every other dog. We have to deal with that stuff first before we worry about anything else. So dogs from those breeds that are becoming aggressive, we tend to think that maybe it comes from a protection standpoint or a protectiveness standpoint, and there's certainly some components of that. It's not uncommon to see dogs that are working bred and working drives to be very forceful, to be very forward. However, it's been our experience here, because we both do both sides of the house. We do working dog stuff and we do behavior rehabilitation stuff. We see a lot of German Shepherds that come through here that don't have an ounce of working capability, and they have all the behavioral issues that any other dog you deal with, any other breed, any other mix, rescues. We see German Shepherds purebred from breeders, I would say reputable breeders, but they're actually just breeders. You know, they have businesses, they sell dogs, and these dogs are as big a nerve bag, bigger reactivity problems as any other dogs out there. So we tend to discard the breed of the dog and not really worry about what the breed of the dog is and what that can be adding to it. If the dog has behavioral problems like showing aggressiveness, snapping at people, showing aggressiveness to the prong collar, treat them like any other dog at that point. What would you do for a pit mix or a chow mix or any other dog that has some aggressive tendencies? If they're showing aggression towards the prong collar, that's where we maybe try to back off slightly in the pressure that we're putting on the prong collar, maybe using the e-collar to take some of the personalness out of the corrections and kind of generalize some communication to the dog that's then not attributed to us. We see a lot of German Shepherds that have reactivity right back up the leash. From a nerve perspective, you give them a correction and ask for some behavior out of them on a prong collar, and if that correction gets a little sharp with them, they get pretty nasty about it. And it's not, again, just to clarify, that is not coming from a working dog space. Working dogs, when they have the courage and the stability and the very, very solid nerve foundation that we look for in working dogs, as those dogs grow and mature, we're very respectful of them when it comes to corrections, when it comes to having a relationship with them before we ask too much of them. That dog showing aggression because of a prong collar correction is a much different picture than what I think you're probably dealing with in these dogs. Again, not seeing the dogs, I can't assume one way or another. But however, those dogs at that young of age, it's been my experience just based on what is actually out there. You're probably not dealing with what I just described as a working dog that is basically saying, don't correct me like that. I don't know you, you don't know me, we don't have the relationship for you to be able to give me those kind of corrections and for me to take it. What you're probably dealing with, based on my experience of having a lot of German Shepherds run through here with a lot of behavioral problems, you're probably dealing with the same type of behavioral issues that you would in any other client dog. Again, nervousness, reactivity, fear, being shut down because of maybe too much prong pressure, the nervousness in the crate, the biting issues. Yeah, that's kind of my advice on that. The snapping and all that stuff's got to be handled just the same as any other dog. Remember, these are big, powerful breeds of dogs, and it worries me even more to see those type of dogs that are a little unhinged, and we have to ask for a lot more rules, a lot more structure, a lot more guidance, a lot more firm leadership in that in that space sometimes. So yeah, happy to help out with that question. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you hitting me up for that. To all you guys out there, Gold Hill Canine really appreciates your support, and we love what the good dog's doing down there, and thanks for tuning in. Back to you guys. I just did the 2-finger point too, just for effect. You're welcome. Hi, Laura.
And question number 5. This comes from Instagram, Cora the Kelpie and Friends. Says, what's the best way to increase focus and engagement with your dog when out on walks?
Full disclosure. Sorry. Some of the hazards of eating while filming. We don't look for engagement in the sense of, like, you know what I mean, like competition heel stuff, where you see dogs that are like walking like robots and staring at the owners. We don't go for any of that stuff. So if you're looking for that, that's really a different style of walking. That's, if you are looking for that, I'm not sure you are, but if you are looking for that, it's a very different style of heeling with the dog. That's a highly focused heel. Very different thing. And it's not what we teach like pet dogs and, you know, owners of pet dogs, because they don't care about it. They're like, can I get my dog to walk next to me and not freak out at the dog down the street, or cats, or pull, or drag me around and be a monster on leash? That's all they're looking for. They could care less about that, right? That might even freak them out a little bit. So if you're looking for that, if you're looking for that high focus stuff, then you need to study focused heeling. Very different thing. If you're looking for, would you say, engagement, better engagement on the walk, it's hard to like discern or decipher exactly what you mean by that without having more information. But I can tell you what we do look for. What we do look for are some very specific things. Heeling in a perfect position, 0 pulling, 0 sniffing, 0 marking, 0 targeting other dogs, 0 zigzagging back and forth, 0 slowing down and speeding up. Here's your golden position. This is the box I want you in. And it sounds like, oh my God, the dog's got no freedom. That's part of the walk. Part of the gig is that command, walk like this. That's, for us, that's our engagement. Our engagement, if the dog is walking like that, at our pace, we can speed up, slow down. The dog is like, boom, right there with us. Boom. Not going anywhere else, not like disconnecting and doing, then I know the dog's engaged. I don't need eye contact like that to know that the dog is engaged. The dog's behavior, body language, and position tells me whether the dog's mentally engaged or not. A dog that's doing all this other stuff, speeding up, slowing down, zigzagging, sniffing, marking, going towards trees, that's not an engaged dog. So it depends like how you want to define engaged and what you're looking for out of that engagement. For us, we're looking for calm, polite, respectful, non-reactive, impulse control rich, respectful behavior. That's really it. If you get that kind of engagement, you're rocking and rolling, because you've got a dog who's now highly conscious of like where they're at, what they're doing, looking to you for information, very calm because they're doing their work. And if they see another dog or something else like that, you've got a very good chance of them deferring to you because they're already not in an escalated kind of peak state like that. And so that gives you a very good chance of having a very good response, result, outcome with any kind of reactivity or anything like that. So I think this is kind of a cool conversation, because I hadn't, as I was getting into this question, I was like, where are we gonna go with this? And plenty of trainer friends I know teach like focused heel. It's just not our gig. That's for like fancy pants stuff. And if you want it, plenty of people out there teaching a really, great versions of it. Go have at it, have fun, knock yourselves out, and maybe your dog will really dig it. But for us, for pet dog owners and their pets, all we're looking for is the mental engagement of being present, complying with what we're asking for, being polite, being respectful, being calm, being deferential. That's all the engagement we need. If we get that, boy, we've got a lot of great stuff. You don't need eye contact for that. You don't need watch me, look, you don't need anything. All you have to do is watch me, look at the dog. That'll tell you everything. You see that? You see the dog right in that position? You speed up, you slow down, the dog moves right with you. He's engaged, he's present, she's present. Whatever the sex may be, I'm trying to be politically correct. He's gonna be right with you. Then you know you've got an engaged dog. So just different kinds of definitions of what engagement might mean to you, but that's how we train it. That's what we're looking for, and those are really our priorities in the engagement game. So, but what you will see is a real quick aside, pointing my finger at you. What you will see a lot of is when we stop dogs around other dogs, like reactivity issues that we're working on, you'll see a lot of dogs looking at us. And a lot of people ask us, how do you get the dogs to like create that eye contact? Do you train like, watch me, look? We don't train any of that. All we do is train the dog, don't target the other dog. Think of this so simply, so clearly, so like at its most like organic, easy, simple form. Don't look at that dog. Dog looks, correction, with a no. I can't do that. Tries again, no. Level comes up a little bit. Looks again, no. Okay, so where's the place I should be looking? Because every time I look over there or start monkeying around, I get corrected. Ah, you, human, holding the leash. You're the safe spot. You're the place I should be looking. Aha, the game thus is figured out. So without asking for watch me, look, or any of that engagement stuff, like that kind of eye contact stuff, we get it just because we've said, you can't do that. We become the safe spot for a dog on a walk. We become the safe spot for dogs with reactivity. They know, I look over there, I get into trouble. I don't want to look over there. And when they do that, I'll give them a nice calm, like I'll touch on their forehead. Good, let them know. I like that, I like what you're doing. But I don't go, good boy, goose them up and cause them to make mistakes and explode and things like that. Don't do that. But that's kind of our engagement plan, strategy, what we're looking for. And I'm glad you asked the question because it kind of pulled out a cool answer that I don't think I've ever really put out in that exact form or format before. The kind of like the differentiation of engagement and how it looks between like the physical like eye contact engagement or the mental, emotional engagement of how the dog actually is with you. Pretty cool, so thanks for the question. So guys, I'm trusting that Laura Morgan has wrapped this whole baby up in some kind of like, and hi Forrest by the way, and wrapped this baby up in some kind of very nice editing, very nice flow, and any links that we need or anything like that. What I haven't asked is a good question, and I think it's kind of our favorite part of the show. This one goes out to Laura, and do not Google Laura Morgan. Do not, hopefully you won't even catch, man, maybe you won't catch this because you won't, you'll have to watch this, so I got you. What show was the phrase, and don't you guys start yelling and freaking out when you hear this, what show is the phrase, Danger Will Robinson from? Now, this one's going back. I think we got her on this one. Some of you oldies like me, you'll know it. But I'm just curious. She doesn't need to know like the name of the characters or what any of the details were, just what the show was. Okay? Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. She might know it. She's been around movies and TV folks for a long time, so, but I love to spring these on her. Anyways, guys, parade's going on 5 minutes from now. I gotta get on my bike and get down, hustle down to Canal Street. They only happen once a year. I love you guys, but I don't want to miss the parade. Book is coming. We're working our butts off. I promise you guys, there is zero laziness, except for this few minutes I'm gonna go down to the parade. Zero laziness going on. We are working our behinds off to deliver you the very best book. And I truly, in my heart of hearts, truly believe it's gonna be a game changer for owners and for trainers. I think it's going to illuminate concepts, ideas, and ways of viewing dog-human relationships in a way that I don't think has happened or been conveyed before. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. And on top of that, I think it's going to be really fun to look at, fun to read, and to go through. And so I think it's going to be really special. Forgive us for being a little behind schedule. It's not for lack of trying. It's for all the details that go in. You know me, I'm like, we'll have a book done in a week. Laura's like, it takes a lot longer than that. So anyways, my exuberance, my like, don't worry, we can get it done, my lack of kind of being tied into reality is what fuels a lot of our great stuff, but also has some drawbacks in the old like reality sense. Laura's much more tuned into like creating a book takes this amount of time, this amount of time, this amount of time, and no matter how bad you want it, Sean, doesn't mean like 2 weeks it's gonna be done. So anyways, Laura's always right, she knows this stuff, and she's already produced her own book, Coyote and the Pig, so she's been down this road, ain't her first rodeo, she knows, but I think you guys are gonna be exceptionally excited when it shows up, and we're working our butts off to get it into your hot little hands as soon as possible, so please be patient with us. I promise you it'll be worth the wait. It's gonna be fantastic. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here. High five to Laura Morgan, and little five to Forrest. Hopefully he hasn't been crying this whole time. Forrest, I'm watching you. And love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Next week, I'll be back in LA, and maybe we can be able to squeeze in like a goodbye to Shelby. Maybe we'll like surprise her with something like goofy or silly or funny or something like that. All right? Love you guys. Thanks so much for following us, and make sure that you check out my post about the Scottish trainer that's being harassed and death threats and all this stuff going on, because there's a world of serious, ugly stuff going on between trainers that come from the pure positive, force-free camp, especially in the UK and Australia and Sweden, as someone pointed out to me, where they're actually threatening people, they're actually threatening bodily harm, businesses, they're going after clients, current, past clients, things like that. Read the post. It's a bit of a longer video. Scroll down my Facebook page, you'll see the post. It's, it says it's for owners, for dog owners. It's for trainers as well, but it's really geared towards owners. I want you guys to read it. I want you to be informed. I want you to know what's really going on out there, that people want to take your tools and your ability to train in the way that you want to train away from you. I want you to know that. I'm not trying to be a fear monger or freak anybody out or be, big on the drama. I rarely say anything about this stuff, but I'm talking about this because this lovely woman in Scotland put out one video on a prong collar about how to fit a prong collar, and has been receiving, I'm not kidding you, death threats. Threats to her physical health, which could be one and the same, but death threats, physical, like this should happen to you, going after a business, false reviews, going after her clients, things like that. And she's such a great lady, and she means so well, and she wants so much good for the dogs. The name of her business is Bow Wow Know How Scotland. If you guys get a chance, Bow Wow Know How Scotland. Trisha Bowerbank, she's a stand-up rock and roll lady that I like a whole heck of a lot. And if you could go over and lend some support, go to her page, let her know that you are, you're aware of her, you've heard about her, and you're looking out for her and you're cheering her on, would mean a lot, because she's in the middle of a firestorm of people that are trying to prevent owners from finding out the truth about what tools and what approaches really can help them and their dogs. So, and with that bit of somber news, I'm gonna get out of here. Love you guys. Hope you're all well, and we'll talk to you next week. See you guys. Mardi Gras.
Okay guys, I love you. Say bye to Forrest. Bye. Friday night, editing Laura says goodbye to.